Welcome and welcome back to Through the Bible in a Year. Today is April the 8th, and we are going to read Psalms 99, Joshua chapters 11 and 12, Proverbs chapter 6, and then we have one article, and it comes out of Proverbs, A Father's Wisdom for the Ages, Proverbs 4. We are on Proverbs 6, but the article itself is right. Do you know what this means? Right smack dab. You ever hear that? Right smack dab in the middle of chapter number 6. And so we're going to read that today. But let's turn in our Bibles to Psalms chapter number 99. That's where we're going to begin our reading for today.
Psalm 99.
The Lord reigns. Let the peoples tremble. He dwells between the cherubim. Let the earth be moved. The Lord is great in Zion, and he is high above all the peoples. Let them praise your great and awesome name. He is holy. The king's strength also loves justice. You have established equity. You have executed justice and righteousness in Jacob. Exalt the Lord our God, and worship at his footstool. He is holy. Moses and Aaron were among his priests, and Samuel was among those who called upon his name. They called upon the Lord, and he answered them. He spoke to them in the cloudy pillar. They kept his testimonies and the ordinance he gave them. You answered them, O Lord our God. You were to them God who forgives, though you took vengeance on their deeds. Exalt the Lord our God, and worship at his holy hill. For the Lord our God is holy.
Amen. Psalms 99. Now let's turn in our Bibles to the book of Joshua. And we are going to read chapters 11 and 12 today. Joshua chapter number 11.
And it came to pass, when Jabin, king of Hazor, heard these things, that he sent to Jobab, king of Madon, to the king of Shimron, to the king of Akshaph, and to the kings who were from the north, in the mountains, in the plain south of Kinnereth, in the lowland, and in the heights of Dor, on the west, to the Canaanites in the east and in the west, the Amorite, the Hittite, the Perizzite, the Jebusite in the mountains, and the Hivite below Hermon, in the land of Mizpah. So they went out, they and all their armies with them, as many people as the sand that is on the seashore in multitude, with very many horses and chariots. And when all these kings had met together, they came and camped together at the waters of Merom to fight against Israel. But the Lord said to Joshua,
Do not be afraid because of them, for tomorrow about this time I will deliver all of them slain before Israel. You shall hamstring their horses and burn their chariots with fire.
So Joshua and all the people of war with him came against them suddenly by the waters of Merom, and they attacked them. And the Lord delivered them into the hand of Israel, who defeated them and chased them to Greater Sidon, to the brook Mizraphath, and to the valley of Mizpah eastward. They attacked them until they left none of them remaining. So Joshua did to them as the Lord had told him. He hamstrung their horses and burned their chariots with fire. Joshua turned back at that time and took Hazor and struck its king with the sword, for Hazor was formerly the head of all those kingdoms. And they struck all the people who were in it with the edge of the sword, utterly destroying them. There was none left breathing. Then he burned Hazor with fire. So all the cities of those kings and all their kings Joshua took and struck with the edge of the sword. He utterly destroyed them, as Moses, the servant of the Lord, had commanded. But as for the cities that stood on their mounds, Israel burned none of them, except Hazor only, which Joshua burned. And all the spoil of these cities and the livestock the children of Israel took as booty for themselves. But they struck every man with the edge of the sword until they had destroyed them, and they left none breathing. As the Lord had commanded Moses his servant, so Moses commanded Joshua, and so Joshua did. He left nothing undone of all that the Lord had commanded Moses. Thus Joshua took all this land, the mountain country, all the south, all the land of Goshen, the lowland, and the Jordan plain, the mountains of Israel and its lowlands, from Mount Halak and the ascent to Seir, even as far as Baal-Gad, in the valley of Lebanon, below Mount Hermon. He captured all their kings and struck them down and killed them. Joshua made war a long time with all those kings. There was not a city that made peace with the children of Israel except the Hivites, the inhabitants of Gibeon. All the others they took in battle. For it was of the Lord to harden their hearts, that they should come against Israel in battle, that he might utterly destroy them, and that they might receive no mercy, but that he might destroy them as the Lord had commanded Moses. And at that time Joshua came and cut off the Anakim from the mountains, from Hebron, from Debir, from Anab, from all the mountains of Judah, and from all the mountains of Israel. Joshua utterly destroyed them with their cities. None of the Anakim were left in the land of the children of Israel. They remained only in Gaza, in Gath, and in Ashdod. So Joshua took the whole land, according to all that the Lord had said to Moses. And Joshua gave it as an inheritance to Israel, according to their divisions by their tribes. Then the land rested from war.
And now chapter number 12.
These are the kings of the land, whom the children of Israel defeated, and whose land they possessed on the other side of the Jordan toward the rising of the sun, from the river Arnon to Mount Hermon, and all the eastern Jordan plain. One king was Sihon, king of the Amorites, who dwelt in Heshbon, and ruled half of Gilead, from Aroer, which is on the bank of the river Arnon, from the middle of that river, even as far as the river Jabbok, which is the border of the Ammonites, and the eastern Jordan plain, from the sea of Kinnereth, as far as the sea of Arabah, the Salt Sea, the road to Beth Jeshimoth, and southward below the slopes of Pisgah. The other king was Og, king of Bashan, and his territory, who was of the remnant of the giants, who dwelt at Ashtaroth and at Edrei, and reigned over Mount Hermon, over Salcah, over all Bashan, as far as the border of the Geshurites and the Maacathites, and over half of Gilead to the border of Sihon, king of Heshbon. These Moses, the servant of the Lord, and the children of Israel had conquered. And Moses, the servant of the Lord, had given it as a possession to the Reubenites, the Gadites, and half the tribe of Manasseh. And these are the kings of the country which Joshua and the children of Israel conquered on this side of the Jordan, on the west from Baal-Gad in the valley of Lebanon, as far as Mount Halak, and the ascent to Seir, which Joshua gave to the tribes of Israel as a possession according to their divisions, in the mountain country, in the lowlands, in the Jordan plain, in the slopes, in the wilderness, and in the south, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. The king of Jericho won, the king of Ai, which is beside Bethel, won, the king of Jerusalem won, the king of Hebron won, the king of Jarmuth won, the king of Lachish won, the king of Eglon won, the king of Gezer won, the king of Debir won, the king of Geder won, the king of Hormah won, the king of Arad won, the king of Libnah won, the king of Adullam won, the king of Makkedah won, the king of Bethel won, the king of Tappuah won, the king of Hepher won, the king of Aphek won, the king of Lasharon won, the king of Madon won, the king of Hazor won, the king of Shimron-Meron won, the king of Akshaph won, the king of Taanach won, the king of Megiddo won, the king of Kedesh won, the king of Jokneam in Carmel won, the king of Dor in the heights of Dor won, the king of the people of Gilgal won, the king of Tirzah won, all the kings 31.
And that is Joshua 11 and 12. We're going to turn back now in our Bibles to the book of Proverbs, and we're going to read chapter 6. And then in that same chapter, we have this article, A Father's Wisdom for the Ages. Here is Proverbs chapter 6.
My son, if you become surety for your friend, if you have shaken hands in pledge for a stranger, you are snared by the words of your mouth. You are taken by the words of your mouth. So do this, my son, and deliver yourself. For you have come into the hand of your friend. Go and humble yourself. Plead with your friend. Give no sleep to your eyes, nor slumber to your eyelids. Deliver yourself like a gazelle from the hand of the hunter, and like a bird from the hand of the fowler. Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider her ways and be wise, which, having no captain, overseer, or ruler, provides her supplies in the summer, and gathers her food in the harvest. How long will you slumber, O sluggard? When will you rise from your sleep? A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall your poverty come on you like a prowler, and your need like an armed man. A worthless person, a wicked man, walks with a perverse mouth. He winks with his eyes, he shuffles his feet, he points with his fingers. Perversity is in his heart. He devises evil continually. He sows discord. Therefore, his calamity shall come suddenly. Suddenly he shall be broken without remedy. These 6 things the Lord hates. Yes, 7 are an abomination to him: a proud look, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked plans, feet that are swift in running to evil, a false witness who speaks lies, and one who sows discord among brethren. My son, keep your father's command, and do not forsake the law of your mother. Bind them continually upon your heart. Tie them around your neck. When you roam, they will lead you. When you sleep, they will keep you. And when you awake, they will speak with you. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law a light. Reproofs of instruction are the way of life. to keep you from the evil woman, from the flattering tongue of a seductress. Do not lust after her beauty in your heart, nor let her allure you with her eyelids. For by means of a harlot a man is reduced to a crust of bread, and an adulteress will prey upon his precious life. Can a man take fire to his bosom and his clothes not be burned? Can one walk on hot coals and his feet not be seared? So is he who goes into his neighbor's wife. Whoever touches her shall not be innocent. People do not despise a thief if he steals to satisfy himself when he is starving. Yet when he is found, he must restore sevenfold. He may have to give up all the substance of his house. Whoever commits adultery with a woman lacks understanding. He who does so destroys his own soul. Wounds and dishonor he will get, and his reproach will not be wiped away, for jealousy is a husband's fury. Therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance. He will accept no recompense, nor will he be appeased, though you give many gifts.
And there you have it. Proverbs chapter 6. There's so much good learning, training in the book of Proverbs. We have this article, A Father's Wisdom for the Ages. It comes from Proverbs 4:1. Hear, O sons, the instruction of a father, and give attention that you may gain understanding. Founding Father John Quincy Adams was a public official for 60 years, serving as an American diplomat in 5 different nations under several U.S. presidents. President George Washington called him the most valuable public character we have abroad. In 1811, while serving under President James Madison as Minister Plenipotentiary of the United States to Russia, Adams wrote 9 letters to his son, George Washington Adams, named for John Quincy Adams' close friend and mentor, George Washington. The letters instructed his son on how to read through the Bible from cover to cover once a year and get the most from his Bible study. He began by explaining, I have myself for many years made it a practice to read the Bible once every year. I have always endeavored to read it with the same spirit and with the same temper of mind which I now recommend to you. That is, with the intention and desire that it may contribute to my advance in wisdom and virtue. Part of getting the most out of your Bible reading is reading it with the intent of gaining something, of finding specific things from the Scriptures that can be applied to daily life, discovering afresh the treasure of that can be found every day, applied wisdom. Adams further acknowledged, my custom is to read 4 or 5 chapters every morning, immediately after rising from my bed. It employs about an hour of my time and seems to me the most suitable manner of beginning the day. Adams then shared with his son why he believed the study of the Bible to be so important. So great is my veneration for the Bible, and so strong my belief that when duly read and meditated on it is of all books in the world that which contributes most to make men good, wise, and happy. That the earlier my children begin to read it, the more steadily they pursue the practice of reading it throughout their lives, the more lively and confident will be my hopes that they will prove useful citizens to their country, respectable members of society, and a real blessing to their parents. Adams was also thoroughly convinced of the innumerable benefits that came from reading and knowing the Bible that he declared with regard to the history contained in the Bible. It is not so much praiseworthy to be acquainted with as it is shameful to be ignorant of it. Notice how Adam's emphasis is reversed from what it is today. In his day, if someone did not know the Bible, it was shameful. But today, if someone actually does know the Bible, it is considered notable. Back in Adam's era, to know it was routine rather than extraordinary. Some of the insight this father gave his son about major teachings he would find in the Bible included these wise words. It is so obvious to every reasonable being that he did not make himself, and the world which he inhabits could as likely make itself, that the moment we begin to exercise the power of reflection, it seems impossible to escape the conviction that there is a Creator. You know some of your duties and the obligations you are under to become acquainted with them all. It is the Bible you must learn them, and from the Bible how to practice them. Attend particularly to the miracle recorded in the 2nd chapter of Luke as having taken place as the birth of Jesus, when the angel of the Lord said to the shepherds, "Fear not, for behold, I bring you glad tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, who is Christ the Lord." Luke 2:11. In these words, the character of Jesus, a Redeemer, was announced. He, Jesus, spoke as one having authority, not only to his disciples, but to his mother, to his judges, to Pilate, the Roman governor, to John the Baptist, his precursor. And there is not in the 4 Gospels one act, not one word recorded of him, excepting his communion with God, that was not a direct or implied assertion of authority. He said to his disciples, "Learn of me, for I am meek and lowly of heart." Matthew 11:29. But where did he ever say to them, "Learn of me, for I am tame and object"? There is certainly nothing more strongly marked in the precepts and examples of Christ than the principle of stubborn and inflexible resistance against the impulses of others to evil. I want to read something here that is a side note in this article, and this is from John Quincy Adams. There are 3 points of doctrine, the belief of which forms the foundation of all morality. The first is the existence of a God. The second is the immorality of the human soul. And the third is a future state of rewards and punishments. Let me read that again. There are 3 points of doctrine, the belief of which forms the foundation of all morality. The first is the existence of a God. The second is the immortality of human soul. And the third is a future state of rewards and punishments. Oh my goodness, John Quincy Adams. There are many other excellent insights contained in the writings of this father to his son. In 1848, 37 years after Adams had originally written these letters and the years of his own death, they were published in a book in order to make Adams' wise counsel available to all of America's youth. These letters have been reprinted numerous times across the generations and are still in print today. Well worth reading by Christians of all ages. Why were these 9 letters to his son considered so suitable for all of Americans' youth? As the publisher explained in 1848. It is no slight testimonial to the very verity or truth and worthy of Christianity that in all ages since its promulgation, the great mass of those who have risen to eminence by their profound wisdom, integrity, and philanthropy have recognized and reverenced the Jesus of Nazareth, the Son of the living God. History demonstrates that those who diligently study the Bible and embrace its teachings have risen to the greatest heights and levels of accomplishment. A major reason that John Quincy Adams originally gave this advice to his son. And that's the end of this article titled, A Father's Wisdom for the Ages. Today is April the 8th, and we have read Psalms 99, Joshua chapter 11 and 12, Proverbs chapter 6. And then we read an article called A Father's Wisdom for the Ages. I pray that you have been blessed by today's reading. And like I always say, be sure to take some time today to meditate on what you have heard and what you have read. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Be blessed, and we will see you again tomorrow.